Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Yeah, welcome to our home.
Welcome to our channel.
We wish this was a happier video with happier news. So we're going to do the sad part first, and then we do have a little bit of good news at the end. So to get into the bad news first, we had one of our sisters commit suicide. And this is very sad, because her story will not get out. Most of us do not know her real name. And I want to thank Boudica on Facebook for giving me a call last night. It was great talking to you, sweetie.
Yes.
And understandably why you're so upset, because this upset me. And this sister who goes by the name of Violet Blue on Facebook, we did not know her real name. And she was a victim of domestic violence for years. And one of Jehovah's Witnesses.
Suffered in silence.
Yeah. And she just recently started waking up and researching and stuff. And she went to her elders. You have to excuse me, this is very difficult for me, because she went to her elders and was trying to get help with the abuse, the horrible abuse she was suffering at the hands of her JW husband, who is a ministerial servant. And the elders, he's from a good family. They've all been exemplary witnesses, years in the truth. And, why is this the first time you're coming to us if this has been happening all these years? Well, she finally got up the guts, the courage to try to get help.
See, and that's the thing. So many Jehovah Witness women suffer in silence because they know the routine of Watchtower. The Jehovah's Witnesses keep the women under their thumbs, subservient, and the Jehovah Witness elders in particular will absolutely refuse to believe that a ministerial servant or an elder who's appointed by God's Holy Spirit is capable of perpetrating such violent abuse and or verbal abuse in a lot of cases. And it really becomes sad that when the woman finally does find the courage to come forward, instead of looking at her from the perspective of having the courage to come forward, it's like, well, why didn't you come to us years earlier? Automatically putting the blame right back on the victim.
They always do.
These guys should not be in the position to make such judgments about abuse in families, because they're incapable, because many of them themselves practice this abuse.
Yeah, and it's a shame that, the witness women cannot get the courage, and the strength to go to the authorities and to get out of these abusive, relationships. But when she went to the elders, they said, oh, well, your husband has exemplary conduct, and we just can't believe it. So if you keep bringing this up and talking about it, we are going to have to look at judicial disciplinary action towards you.
And there's the threat to shut the woman up again.
Yeah. Yep. So she was so distraught. She called Boudica, like I said, from the Facebook group, last Friday, which would have been the 14th. And she said that she was going to do it. She was going to kill herself. She was a registered nurse, so she knew how to do it to make it look like a heart attack. And this is so sad, because then Boudica found out on Tuesday, if I remember correctly, that this sister, Violet, had killed herself on Saturday at work. I believe she worked at a hospital, and it looks like a heart attack, so it will not be in the newspapers. It will not be reported as a suicide. So if anyone in the Seattle, Washington area knows this story, or knows the hospital where a nurse, died of natural causes of a heart attack, please let us know, or put it down below.
Alert the authorities that this is not what it is.
Yeah.
And somebody that may have read something on Facebook or have other knowledge, please bring it forth to the authorities, because this Watchtower Bible Tract Society, you're not going to get away with this.
Another victim.
You guys are already bleeding members. You're losing money like it was water. You're closing kingdom halls like, the spiritual mindset of Jehovah's Witnesses don't matter no more. Come on, let's just keep the pressure up on these guys. And if we can put pressure on these guys from any corner of the world, then we need to do it.
Yeah, so if anybody knows about this Violet and knows her real name or anything, if you could please contact the authorities in Seattle, Washington, and let them know that this was not a natural causes of a heart attack, that this was a suicide caused by these elders in, we don't even know what congregation she was or anything, but our hearts go out to her two little boys, because they were 9 and 12, and, they will never know that what their mother was suffering and what she was going through. They will think that she just died of a heart attack.
Yeah. It's sad. It's truly sad, friends.
Yeah. So
the Watchtower killing has got to stop.
Yeah. And please, we know so many of you are going through depression and all this, horrible traumatic experiences. Please get some professional help, please, because we do not want to see Watchtower claim another victim.
And you know what? Tell these elders to go fuck themselves. It's just simple as that.
Yeah.
These guys are horrible. They don't give a rat's ass about your well-being, your spiritual well-being, what your family life is like. They don't care. All they want is they want to work for the money machine that is the Watchtower Bible Tract Society. That's all they care about.
And we already know they're misogynists, and they don't care about women and children.
No, they do
not care about you sisters.
I don't care how much they sit up on that damn pulpit and say, oh, we love our brothers. That's all a facade. That's all a facade. This is a satanic organization. It practices ritual child abuse, and it practices family abuse at home and in silence. And then all of us that have been in this situation know the scare tactic. Well, if you go to the authorities, we can disfellowship you for tarnishing the reputation of the congregation. That's the fear. That's the only thing they have, and this fear is not real. But the results are.
Yeah, very real.
The results are very, very real.
Yeah, so she died on October 15th, and like I said, I even went to the Seattle newspapers and trying to find, someone that resembled, the obituary, and I just couldn't find anything. So our hearts go out to the little boys, who are caught in this, and, this evil, evil cult that just keeps claiming victims, and that's why we keep doing this. And I want to thank the Facebook groups. So many of you are trying to help, these people who are victims of domestic abuse, sexual abuse. All of you, are working so hard. And, I told Boudica last night, I said, I wish we had 100 more of ones like you, because we need more. There's just so many who are being abused and who need help. And, it's been drilled in all of us that you cannot go to seek professional therapy because it's Satan's world. And, if we could just get through that and, get the professional help. But unfortunately, not all therapists, professional therapists, know how to deal with this. They don't. Yeah. There are some good ones that do, but a lot do not. So
it reminds me of a scripture in Revelation. I think it's 18:2, or is it 12:2? Give me just a moment here. Revelation 18:2. Start at verse 1. After these things I saw another angel descending from heaven with great authority, and the earth was lighted up from his glory. And he cried out with a strong voice, saying, she has fallen. Babylon the Great has fallen, and she has become a dwelling place of demons and a lurking place of every unclean exaltation and a lurking place of every unclean and hated bird. Watchtower Bible Tract Society, with the track record that you are now being exposed of having, the track record of ritualistic child abuse, ritualistic domestic violence, these demons are definitely dwelling within your four walls. If you're a Jehovah's Witness and you honestly ponder this thought, you'll come to the right conclusion. If the demons harass a Jehovah's Witness, what is it that the Jehovah's Witness is going to do to stop the harassing of the demons? You're going to pray more, you're going to go to the meetings more, and you're going to go out and service more. Either these demons are incredibly stupid, or this organization is something that they own and control, and that's exactly where they want you.
Yep.
Because it's counterproductive to harass a Jehovah Witness knowing that they're going to go deeper in the organization. Don't the demons want people out of Watchtower, Jehovah's Witnesses? Don't they want you away from this organization? Think about what I just said. You can't argue this. You just can't. Because either those demons are incredibly stupid, or this organization is much, 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 much more than what it is on the surface.
Yeah, exactly. Now, we do have a little bit of news that, we thought about doing a separate video, but it's like we just need to tack it on the end of this because we're running out of time. These weekends just go too fast. We have had verification now. We mentioned in our last video that we had one person tell us about a meeting in California with the elders. And now we have had verification from two more people. One is an elder's wife, and I'm not going to say what state they are in. But her husband went to a big elders meeting at their assembly hall, and the meeting was about how to best utilize kingdom halls and funds. But he wouldn't give her any details. She did mention that their kingdom hall was promised a renovation, and they sent $40,000 to the society. You know how when they changed the donation arrangement and they said just keep $5,000 in your bank account and send the rest to headquarters? Well, their congregation sent headquarters $40,000, and they were supposed to be getting a remodel. And no, they're not getting it now. And now her husband may even be moved to another one, reassigned, and they don't know if they're going to get to keep their kingdom hall now even. Now, we also had another person verify from, they've got a source high up that said, yes, there are big elders meetings going on. They were promised a new kingdom hall, and nope, right out of the blue, it's been stopped, and they have to sell their kingdom hall off real quick. And they didn't even wait for their asking price. They took the first offer that they were given. And this source has said that Watchtower is trying and scrambling to save every penny they can because they are paying out so much in lawsuits. And now it's jokingly referred to as the pedophile fund. So Jehovah's Witnesses, the money that you are sending is not for the kingdom work. It's for their pedophile fund. And I just have one question. If Jehovah, your God, is making all this growth and with your organization, how can you possibly explain this away that you are going broke and every penny you are sending in is being used for this pedophile fund? Jehovah, your God, is not with your organization anymore. And
it really stands to reason because we recently uploaded a talk from one of the current circuit assemblies that are going around, and the JW that is presenting the information, circuit overseer makes a comment about if you're asked to move to another location, be willing to do it. Even if it's 5 blocks, I think he said. Really, you moron, 5 blocks? I'm not buying that from it. 5 blocks is nothing.
Maybe
people.
5 miles, but
5 blocks? No. See, so when you hear stories like this, and then you hear a talk, and the circuit overseer saying, be willing to move for Jehovah type nonsense, that validates what we're saying here. That these kingdom halls are closing right and left because the Watchtower Bible Tract Society literally has its tit in the ringer with all of these lawsuits regarding child abuse. And boys, you knuckleheads in New York, you know damn well that you can't escape this. You guys know damn well that you can't escape it.
And I also want to mention that the new investigator for the UK Commission, if there's anybody in the UK who has any abuse stories, contact them directly at the UK Commission .gov.uk, I believe it is, website directly, and give them your abuse story. He sent me...
you don't need to give it to an individual Jehovah Witness.
Send
Do
it to them directly.
Yourself. Go and find the courage and the strength to do it yourself. Stand up.
And the new investigator, Nicholas, is a very nice guy, and he is meeting with all of these victims, and he's very easy to deal with and to talk to. And I mean, he is working a lot, even beyond his, 9 to 5 hours, trying to get all of this researched. But I wanted to mention that he sent me a link, and so they are very well aware of what's going on. But it was a link to an article from San Diego, California, here in the U.S., where Watchtower has petitioned the court on the Lopez case now that they want their bond money back. And they want that ASAP. They don't want to wait for the usual process. They want it right now. So this is another proof, evidence that they are hurting for money, and they are paying out so much. And there are so many that aren't even public, that we don't even have articles or links to. We know of several. Well, the one here in New Mexico. Yeah. A gag order was put on it, and now there is no other information. So is Watchtower having to pay out on, the Michael Bruner case?
Yeah, exactly.
So we don't know. There's a gag order, and the files have been closed now. I can't go to the court site and find out. So I may have to go in person and get the public records if I can.
And that brings up an interesting thing about this gentleman in the UK and how thoroughly he's wanting to investigate the Watchtower Bible Tract Society. He even sent us an email and asked us to send our story of being disfellowshipped because Kim and I, as little as it is and as insignificant as our story is, we established through lawyers that this Watchtower Bible Tract Society, the elders, especially here in Tijeras Canyon, New Mexico, are willing to break a simple little law like harassment. See, our lawyers sent this congregation here in New Mexico a cease and desist because under New Mexico state law, what these elders do is considered harassment. And when they were sent that cease and desist from our lawyer, well, a Watchtower lawyer sent them back a letter also. And they are in violation of New Mexico state law. So no matter how small or insignificant you might think your story is, to these people that are trying to expose the depth of the criminal activity of Watchtower and how willing these elders are to break even the smallest of laws, it becomes a significant puzzle piece to the entire picture of what these guys are doing.
Well, Nick even told me, he said, I don't think we have ever seen any legal documents like this. Because
Yeah.
I had sent him the scans of the letters back and forth, and like Mike said, our lawyer had sent a letter to the body of elders and the Watchtower legal department to cease and desist and to quit even contacting us, quit phone calls, showing up unannounced, all of that. And they just totally ignored it.
Yep.
And so we had, all the letters and scans and sent them that. So if nothing else, I know we're not in the UK, but at least it establishes the fact that this is how they do things. And
This
I
is
know
how
of
they
several
operate.
others who have sent him, scans of letters from Watchtower and, legal documents and cease and desist and all of that.
Yeah.
And it just establishes, how they do things. And then when you put that with meeting with the elders and finding out that here's someone that is being beaten so severely, that they have bruises and, broken ribs, and then the elders tell them, oh, well, if you keep talking about this, we're going to have to take disciplinary action against you. It's like, my God,
Abuse the
does it
victim
not
further.
even, sink in?
No, it doesn't. It does not. When you're talking people that are possessed by demons, you cannot get to them. They
Yeah.
become irrational, illogic, and they are absolutely incapable of seeing the truth as it's presented to them face
Yeah.
to face.
We were just Skyping with a ex-JW woman. Hi, Martha. It was great talking to you. And I wrote down a comment that she made because she was a victim of domestic abuse also. And when she started realizing she had to get out of this abusive, marriage, she said, if God cannot protect me, then why stay in this marriage?
Yep.
And I wish all sisters who are enduring, physical abuse like this, would just wake up and say, yeah, why isn't Jehovah protecting me? Why isn't he protecting all of these little children that
That's
are
right.
being molested?
That's right. Because their God Jehovah is a God that's dead.
He just doesn't care. So that
Yep.
tells you it is not God's organization.
Yep, exactly.
God would not have anything to do with an organization like this. They say the same thing about the Catholic Church. My entire life I've been told, oh, well, the Catholic Church isn't God's organization because look at all what's going on in it. Well, do you not see that the same thing is going on in your organization? God is not blessing you. He is not giving you the funds you need to progress with the kingdom work. He's not protecting you from being banned from all of these countries all over the world.
Wake up, Jehovah's Witnesses. Meanie,
Yeah.
meanie, Tickle Parson. The
Yeah.
handwriting is on the wall. You just can't recognize it yet.
Yeah.
And for a lot of you, it'll probably be recognized too late.
Yeah. So we, felt we had to tell Violet's story to get this out. And I watch forensic shows all the time. And I love when those doctors always say, I have to speak for the victim who is now dead. And that's, why
Yeah.
we feel we have to tell this story, because Violet is dead now and we have to tell her story. This was not natural causes. This was not a heart attack. She deliberately killed herself, knew how to do it because she's a nurse. And she told somebody the day before. And,
Yeah.
It's very upsetting for poor Boudica because, without knowing her name, she could not contact the authorities or get help for her. And
See, and that's one of the dangers of what we're doing,
yeah,
because so many current Jehovah's Witnesses who are in these abusive situations are crying out for help, desperate situations, and they're using phony names because
They
they're
have to
afraid. They're afraid that their current Jehovah Witness friend will recognize their name and turn them into the elders because they're talking to apostates on social media. When, the fear, kill that fear and take control of your life again.
yeah. So I blame whatever congregation in Seattle, Washington this sister was in. I blame the elders and I blame Watchtower for their stupid policies, and it's hurting. It's killing people.
Yep.
And it has got to stop. It's got to stop. So if there's anyone out there listening to this and you're in an abusive relationship Get out, get help. I mean, contact the authorities. Forget the elders.
Well, get out and become part of the resistance. When you speak up to the authorities, not the Watchtower idiot elders, we're talking the real authorities, you become part of the resistance. You become part of the mechanism that is working to shut this evil organization down.
Exactly. And all of you out there who are doing research and making comments down below and, getting news articles out there and searching the internet for all of this and helping those who are just coming out, you're all part of the resistance.
Yep.
So, we appreciate and respect you guys so much for all you do, and keep up the great work. And I just wanted to mention real quick that J.W. Epistate has had such an overwhelming response on postcards. He's having a hard time keeping up. So thank you, everyone.
Yes.
But he is going to be having business cards made now. So you don't even have to send them out. You can stand next to a literature cart and hand out these little business cards. So that is coming soon, and we will let everybody know when those are available.
Yes.
So thank you for watching, and thank you for listening to our rant, because I'm sure you can understand why we have anger about this.
Yeah, it's a needless waste of human life.
Yeah. Especially, a mom who has young boys.
Yep.
So we love you all, and hope you have the rest of the good weekend.
Bye.
Bye.
It just seems that I can't get over Don's death. I'll be okay for a day or two, and then anything could trigger this devastating hollow void I feel inside. I've had to run the business all by myself, and I don't have to remind you of the troubles I've had with the house. Sometimes I feel so worn out, I don't want to go on anymore. I really don't. I've even had thoughts of turning the car on in the garage and just going to sleep inside.
Thank you for feeling comfortable enough to tell us that. It is not unusual for intense grief to cause bouts of depression and even some irrational thoughts. He had wild thoughts like you have. But think about it. We don't call him Job the emotionally distraught soul, do we? No, he was Job the integrity keeper because he did not give in to his irrational thoughts. Mary, thus far you too are an integrity keeper. Like Job, be determined not to give in to such wild thoughts. When such a thought comes to mind, treat it as you would an immoral thought. What would you do with an immoral thought?
Reject it.
That's right. Change that thought. Even physically doing something different. Repeat to yourself, I am an integrity keeper. I am an integrity keeper. And if possible, read a little from the Psalms to help stabilize your emotions.
Thank you for sharing that. I needed to hear it.